to the best morning show on the globe. It's Bradley and Emery in the morning, y'all.
LeBron or Jordan, either one when I'm performing. Crossover, buzzer beater, and I'm scoring. Bradham and Emery in the morning. Every play they on it. Every day I'm balling. Who's the coach? Who's the GOAT? Like Brady and Belichick, best show on the globe. And they embellish it. Y'all pin Ziffy, I'm Ken Griffey, or maybe Mahomes. I stay in the zone, whether man to man or play in the zone. They can't stop me. Mayweather boxing, Curry with the shot, man. We just the best to be. Can we have our SP, please? This was meant to be. Every morning with Bradham and Emery.
Sir, you know the vibes. Bradman in the morning. Marcus Brown, just Emery.
Let's go!
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Let's just go.
A beautiful day in the neighborhood. AJ Brown, 35-point victory, 4-game sweep. This is what's great about
Philly didn't wake up the cockiest city in America since 1776 yesterday. I can't help you.
This is what's great about sports. You know, we do Wednesday, and Wednesday is so somber and sad, and you're so disappointed. And you know, this is why you hang on for days like yesterday. They don't happen very often, but yesterday was a banner day. And really all across the board. Phillies 4-game sweep, but we're gonna have plenty of time to talk about the Phillies. You know, we got 6 months to talk about them. Right now, it's really about, you know, the draft and what happened in Toronto, Canada last night. I'm gonna start with Sixers. That had to happen. It had to happen. It had to go down the way it did. Mm-hmm. Every part of that had to happen. I was serious, man. Like, I said that on Wednesday.
Oh, I know you were serious.
If they ended up blowing that lead, you know, obviously this is figurative, not literal. Everybody had to die. Mm-hmm. Like, I was taking the machine gun down to Camden. I was going to look at Tyrese when I walked in the building and said, run. And I was taking out everybody. Everybody had to go. And that's how it had to be. Everybody would have had to go. And I didn't want it to be that way, but you can't come back from that.
No.
You can't come back from that. We have nowhere to go. If you would have done this again to us, another Game 7 loss at home to an inferior opponent. And you saw, listen, everything that I've said about Toronto Raptors rang true. They are inferior. They can't, when the Sixers play their game, they cannot touch the Sixers. They can't. They're not good enough. They play really, really hard, but they're not talented enough to keep up with the Sixers. Sixers fell in the trap of we're up 3-0, and the Raptors kept playing hard. That's what they do. That's why the Raptors are overachieving franchise this year. They got in the position they got into by playing hard every night. I was even getting frustrated in the first half because the lead should have been larger at halftime, but the Sixers refused to put an ass and box out. Like literally, that should have been Doc Rivers' entire speech. Get your ass on somebody and box out. They had something like 11 offensive rebounds in the first half. The Sixers won, and it's all hustle. And also off those offensive rebounds, they score at a high clip. And you know, listen, you can't do much about the bench. Sixers got up 36-29 at one point. It looked like they were cruising. And then they put in, you know, the Shake Miltons, the Furkan makes an appearance, and you know, Niang and all those guys. And the Raptors immediately go on an 11-0 run and, you know, make it interesting again. I don't know what you do about that going forward, but that third quarter and let me go back to the first quarter too, because Harden was Harding last night.
Yes.
That's the James Harden that we need. That's the guy that we need. Like, that you know, I love the statement of coming up and yamming immediately in the first quarter, dunking on someone's head. So yeah, I got a little bit of legs. And you saw him aggressive in the first quarter. He had 10 points in the first quarter. That's what you need. And that really opened up everything.
James Harden came out in the first quarter and was like, who did you think I was?
Yeah.
Did you forget who I am? Exactly. Exactly.
That first quarter, he came out, he scored 10, and it opened up everything. Everything opened up after that.
Really, yes, I know you brought up the third quarter. It really started with about 4 minutes left in the second quarter.
Yes.
Where they started pulling away a little bit. And then when they came out at halftime, they never took their foot off the gas.
No, right. And in that first quarter, Harden, and the thing is too, he started to get calls last night. Why? Because he was being aggressive. He was being aggressive.
The refs will always call in favor of the aggressive player.
He forced their hand.
If you sit back and you're passive, you will not get the attention of the referees.
1,000%.
Regardless of sport.
He played a great game. I think he finished with 22, 13, somewhere in there. But the shooting percentage was high. He was very efficient from the field, which was exactly what we're talking about him being. He's getting the shots. Be efficient. Be efficient. Be a little bit more aggressive. He was that. Joel Embiid. What did we notice last night that he did not do? He did not one time touch his thumb.
He didn't
not one.
He didn't whine.
No.
He didn't complain.
I would have had no idea that he had a thumb injury yesterday. And Allen Iverson did an interview with John Clark on his podcast, and he was talking about playing through injury. And he said it without saying it. You knew what he was trying to say. And he's like, listen, I had the same thumb injury Joel had. Like, it is painful. It does suck. He's like, but at some point you gotta just play through it, and he's gonna have to figure out how to do that. And you know what he was saying, because Allen Iverson. Listen, we all know how tough Allen Iverson is. I told Amber the story last night of AI in Game 6 against Milwaukee. Gets elbowed in the mouth with a minute to go in the game, and he gets elbowed to the point where there's blood swelling up in his mouth, and he just kept swallowing the blood because he wanted to come out of the game. That's how tough Allen Iverson is. He played through so many injuries in 2001. He did have to sit out one game with that hip, but you wouldn't have known it was even a problem the way he was playing, throughout the playoffs and everything else he went through. But anyway,
real quick, I just want to the Iverson point real quick.
Yeah.
He is such an undervalued asset to this franchise.
Listen,
I mean,
give him a job, please.
Hire
him.
Players are going to listen to him.
Hire him. We talked
about a great ambassador for this team, and I don't even mean from the team to the fans.
Right.
I'm saying from the team to the NBA players to other teams. Iverson is an icon.
Yes.
I'm not using that term lightly.
No.
Iverson is an icon, and they are. When is the last time Iverson bashed the Sixers publicly?
Never.
He never bashes them publicly.
And we've talked about,
don't get me wrong, knowing his kind of personality behind closed doors. Oh, he's melting the paint off the wall.
But it's like family. You don't go against family in public. But
I would please hire this man. Don't hire him to be a coach. Please don't. I don't want this man being a coach.
No.
I don't want him involved in practice whatsoever. But he needs to be on the payroll.
He's one of the 3 or 4 most influential players in the history of the NBA. For his impact, and the players respect and love him. He's revered by the NBA community. So yeah, absolutely hire him. But you saw Embiid. He played his game. He looked good. Another 30 piece, as Kenneth Purse say, 30-piece spicy wing dinner.
Whoo.
And he played very well. And then
there hasn't been a bigger advocate for the Sixers than Perk this year.
I appreciate his support.
No.
And the third piece to all of this, it was the return of the kid. Tyrese Maxey returns. Thank you, kid, for coming back. And we disagree a little bit on this. We need him now. We need him now. I can't wait. We need you now.
Well, we're not necessarily disagreeing, because I do agree that we need him now. I just don't think that we can rely on him yet. That's the difference. Is that
I'll put it this way. I'd like to rely on him now, because we
definitely need him.
That series.
There's no doubt about it. We need him.
You're going to need him now. The matchups for him, I think, are a lot more favorable in round 2 than it was in round 1. Round 1, when Van Vliet goes out, you get the length of the Raptors. They're tall. They're big. Not this round. This round, he's going to be put he's going to get if he's a proper matchup hunter. We talk about on the show all the time, being a person that hunts those matchups. He's going to be hunting Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson. He's going to have favorable matchups that he can get a hold of in this series.
When was that
Jimmy
game?
Butler can't be everywhere.
When was that game where they blew out the Heat? I think it was without Harden and Embiid. Was it?
They didn't blow them out, but they beat them. They beat them at home. I know exactly what we're talking about.
I
That's
think
what he did.
it was 7 straight possessions in the
Mhm.
fourth quarter. They made sure that the ball carrier was ISO'd on Tyler Hero.
Yes.
So that's going to be the move. Can you get Maxey on Hero? Can you
expect to see
get
that again.
Harden on Hero?
Right.
That's going to be the key for this.
And this is what
Not
Harden.
Kyle Lowry, stay away from the Bulldog.
Right. Harden lives for this stuff. Like Harden's really good at hunting those matchups and getting the right pick and roll and the right matchup and exploiting that. So that's something that, looking for. We'll get into that, a little bit later. But it was
We'll do the heavy breakdown on Monday for game 1.
yes, it was nice. It was a perfect ending to a series that turned in to be not so perfect. The third quarter, obviously, you say I think Danny Green's another one I got shout out because I think he was huge in that second quarter. The boat was a little rocky for a little bit in that second quarter. After the Raptors went an 11-0 run, it was a little rocky in there. Danny Green had a big quarter. I think he hit 3 threes in the quarter.
Yes.
And they were huge shots, and it kind of steadied the ship for that, and it set the pace. It was kind of the trailer for that third quarter explosion. And after the third quarter, the game was basically over. Everyone knew it was pretty much over. Listen, it's a lesson. I hope it's a lesson learned for the Sixers that listen, when the hardest, and everyone says this all the time, the hardest game is that closeout game because guys don't want to go home yet, especially in a sweep situation. Then you don't beat them in that situation. It's like, okay, well, we can beat this team. So you have that. So now the pressure kind of starts reverting back to you. So the Sixers got to realize and remember that, listen, when you have a team down, you got to have the killer instinct. You got to put them away. You got to kill them at the end. Kill them. So that was one thing happening on, one channel. Then we flip over to the other channel, the NFL draft.
Yes.
So, okay. I said it on Wednesday. I was very much Jameson Williams up. I wanted Jameson Williams on this football team. I wanted to see him compliment Devontae Smith. That was the guy for me. The Eagles move up, and I know it's going to happen. I know they're doing it. Now, I know a lot of people were hard, but this is pre-trade. We're hard on Howie Roseman about getting beat to the punch by Detroit. But let's be honest. Who would have thought Detroit would make a move to do it?
2-12.
Detroit is a team that watches the moves. They don't make the moves.
Yes.
Like, I can't get mad at Howie Roseman for getting beat by the punch by Detroit because who saw that coming? Nobody.
20 spots.
Yeah. Like, what are they doing up there? Like how'd you get? Like, it didn't make sense for them to get there. I think what happened was after that, it was a shell shock moment where it was like, well, what the F do we do now?
Exactly.
I mean, like one of those, like, well, what do we do now? And it was like a stunned moment. We talked about a pre-show. I don't love the Jordan Davis pick. I don't really like it. I think in today's NFL, we talk about how it's an offensive league. However, if I want somebody to get on a defensive line, I want someone that's going to get to the quarterback. And I don't think Jordan Davis did that consistently in Georgia.
So let me try to boost your spirits a little bit with this pick.
Okay.
Now, I don't love the pick. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and act like I love the pick.
Okay.
I don't dislike it as much as you do.
Correct.
Especially since Jameson Williams was already off the board.
Yeah, which
at
I was
that point in time.
very distraught.
Like I said, both on Wednesday, I believe we both were very adamant about that was the guy that we wanted first.
Yes.
So the NFL is built off freaks of nature. Is that fair to say? You want freaks of nature. You want people that you can't get a lot of them. That's why we're obsessed with DK Metcalf, 6'4", 240, 4.3. We're obsessed with those kind of things. We're obsessed with the Rob Gronkowski, 6'7", 270, is a sixth offensive lineman and a fifth receiver, all in one. Jordan Davis, 6'6", 350, and runs a 4.7. How many human beings on earth can do that?
Not many.
Like, we're looking at the defensive line version of Jordan Mailata. That's what we're looking at right now. Is it the best pick? No. I much rather would have had the guy that went directly after him, Kyle Hamilton. But this guy, every single scout, GM, Twitter warrior, YouTube fanatic is comping this guy to Haloti Ngata. They said that he is somewhere between Haloti Ngata and Fletcher Cox. That is his comp. So if you can if you can get yourself a Haloti Ngata, a Fletcher Cox, then that improves things. Because now you look, they want to get pressure up front. This guy, you have to double team him every play just because of his size. This pick, while, don't get me wrong, I would have preferred a younger end. I don't like a 35-year-old Brandon Graham. I definitely don't like Derek Barnett at any age or any pay on the other side. This is a pick that will help Hassan Reddick. This is a pick that will help the rest of those D-line. But, caveat, he needs to lose 15 to 20 pounds. He's too heavy. He is too big. He only played 34% of the snaps towards last year. Now, I think that that's a threefold issue. Number one, I heard he got a little bit out of shape, but he got himself back into shape. So we're not looking at a Jamarcus Russell where he just let himself become Jabba the Hutt. That didn't happen.
Right.
He gained some weight, but he shedded it back down.
Yeah.
Secondly, Georgia's D-line, what did they have? 5 first-round picks yesterday, if not more?
They had 6 defensive first-round picks.
6 defensive. Of course, you're going to come off the field as someone you have that much talent. So I don't think necessarily all the times that he came off the field, he only played 30-some-odd%. I don't think that's all because he was a fat slob. I think some of that is just they had so many other stud players. They keep that rotation going. Third, however, though, he was at the Maxwell Awards. I heard Ray Didinger speak that at the Maxwell Awards, he said that he's comfortable playing around 3:30 and plans to try to get there by the start of training camp for whatever team. So he knows that he has to slim down. And he's already slimmed down about 10 to 15 pounds. So, like I said, I'm not giving this an A grade. I'm going to give it a B with the potential that if he plays the way that his comps are, then it will be a good pick. I still rather have Kyle Hamilton, though, like I said.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you broke that down extremely eloquently. And you know, I hope you're right. I really do. I hope I'm right. I don't like. Listen, for you know me. I'm not worried about being wrong. I'm worried about things working out in my favor.
Yes,
I don't care about that. So if this works out, great. I didn't love it. Now, here's a caveat. One of the reasons why, obviously, I was all Jameson Williams up. I wanted Jameson Williams. It didn't happen. I was disappointed. I didn't like that pick that much. But then the other shoe.
Oh, okay. Well. So hold on. Let's just lead up to that was the 18th pick they traded. So
yes,
I'm very worried. Everyone should say very. I have major concerns facing Washington now, because with the 16th pick, they took Jahan Dotson, the wide receiver out of Penn State.
Yeah.
Now they have 2 burners on the outside with a quarterback that can throw the vast majority of the entire field. That 16th pick, Jahan Dotson. Well, I think he also got picked a little early. I don't care if he's a Penn State guy. I wouldn't have taken him, honestly, before like 21 or 22. So the fact that he went 16 is a little early, but when you have McLaurin on the other side with Wentz as quarterback, Washington, I still think they're going to Washington like they always do.
Yeah.
But
and Wentz is going to Wentz.
Wentz is going to Wentz, but you cannot look at this team and just assume you're going to roll over and they're going to roll over and just knock them out. But so now I feel like picks like 13 through 16 went very quick. Like boom, boom, to the team they wanted. Then all of a sudden, trade happens.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if you were watching it on ESPN or NFL Network.
Watching ESPN.
ESPN. So you heard Mike Greenberg come on and say,
yeah,
all you fans out there, you may not know this if you're not on Twitter because you didn't want the picks ruined for you.
Yes.
However, the Philadelphia Eagles have just traded the 18th pick to the Tennessee Titans.
Yes.
with a 3rd round pick, 101 overall, I believe. For wide receiver, A.J. Brown. And then announced immediately afterwards, $100 million contract for 4 years. So Eagles, fans, Marcus Bradham, everyone out there listening, we got our X receiver.
I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
I just thought of this.
Okay.
Do you think this? Okay, so let's say the Eagles do draft Jameson Williams.
Okay.
Does this A.J. Brown thing still happen, or was just this a reaction to that? Because I thought initially when the trade first, like my first split second reaction was, okay, how we had a backup plan when he just trades for him, but then the extension, they had to have been talking before, that can't get worked out in 2 minutes.
No.
So that had to be something that happened like previously. Like this has already been something that's been discussed.
I feel like it has definitely been discussed ahead of time, but that the trigger wasn't pulled until the Jameson. So I feel like they had a potential deal in place. Like, hey, we want to trade for, and Tennessee was like, okay, here's, the stipulations to do that trade.
Mm-hmm.
And Howie said, okay, and put it on the back burner. And when he couldn't get his receiver in the draft, he pulled the trigger on it.
So you think it doesn't happen if he gets Jameson Williams?
Yes, but that he had it worked out just ahead of time, just in case.
Well,
you're not going to pull the trigger on that trade and give a 9-figure contract to someone in the span of 22 minutes. That's not going to happen. So it had to have at least been agreed to on some kind of principle ahead of time.
Yeah, I mean, and we heard all the rumble.
And if you catch the interview, Howie did Wednesday. I forget if it was Wednesday or Thursday. He hints, without naming, that there could be a potential for a trade for a veteran receiver later on in the first round. Now, he didn't say any names, but he goes, I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact quote, but he says something along the lines of, it's always okay if you add a veteran playmaker throughout the course of the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what did they do?
They did. And a veteran playmaker that's only 24 years old. So we use that term veteran very loosely.
Yes.
He's a great compliment to what Devontae Smith can bring to the table. And now you have the pieces. You got Brown, you got Smith, Goddard. I'm expecting a huge jump from Kenneth Gainwell this year.
Sanders.
You got pieces. You got Sanders still in the fold. Pieces are here to not have a explosive offense. Now it goes back to is what it always comes back to.
Something Pascal. Didn't they just bring in another?
Yeah, Zach Pascal.
I almost said Pascal Siakam. I was like,
that
ain't right.
I mean, he's okay. I mean, I know.
But when you bring in Brown and you already have Smith, and now you're adding depth around him.
Right. So
I will say this, though. I will take back almost everything I said about Howie if someone gets traded today or tomorrow.
That's Reagor, right? Yeah, he's on borrowed time. I mean, I'm sure they're already being shopped and figuring out he can't be on this roster.
I was going to say Ortega too, but since he did that position change,
I did now. So
I guess he saved himself another year. I don't know.
Yeah, well, listen. First of all, the rumblings of this was you kind of heard whispers of this because Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown working out together. They're apparently really close. There've been some.
Let me get this straight. We went from Brent Selleck and Zach Ertz to Goddard and Arcega Whiteside.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So you heard rumblings of this, but now listen, as it already was, the pressure turned back to the quarterback. You got the pieces. This is to me the front office saying, and Nick Sirianni, I don't know if Nick Sirianni said it, but the front office saying we will be a professional offense this year.
Yes,
we can't play all the way we did last year.
Or we will have a new quarterback next year.
Right. That's what it says to me.
And what they're doing is they're loading up that offensive line.
Yep.
They're loading up their position players.
Mm-hmm.
If they have to, their quarterback that they get next year, keyword if, I understand we don't have to hide how we feel. It's been adamant about how we feel.
Yes.
But if you have to bring someone in next year, he's stepping into a great position.
Yes. Agreed. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what they're saying to me is that this will be a pro offense. Jalen Hurts either fall in line or get out, and we're gonna see how much he's improved, if it's possible to improve. The arm issues that we both saw, the field and field issues that we both saw. We'll see what happens because it's all out in front of him. A guy he's been working with all off season, the other guy he played with in college. So we'll see. We'll see how this works out. I'm going to.
This is his chance. Like this.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Like I said, I don't believe you and I, either one of us, were hard on him last year. I thought we were pretty fair about our assessments of who he was.
Oh no, we were hard on him, but we were fair.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
we weren't unfair. Like we were not unfair to him. We were critical, but we were fair.
And this year, I'm going into it with an open heart and open mind, and prove me wrong. That's my stance. Prove me wrong. Like I said, I have no problem being wrong.
But it has to happen now. The time is now.
The time is definitely now. So anyway, all of that just to say, it was such an exciting day yesterday in Philadelphia sports. A day that will live in infamy. So much going on, so much cool stuff happening, and there's still more rounds of the draft. So the Eagles can still get some guys that could play this year for this team. So hopefully, they're able to, finish up the draft and get the right prospects in here to complete this roster. I'm still holding out hope that Tyrann Mathieu ends up on this roster. Fingers crossed. Still out there.
Bring me the honey badger.
Bring me the badger. That would be a great. I mean, and with the Eagles don't really. We know how I feel about linebackers, but safeties has always been something they've always taken pride in. We went from Brian Dawkins to Malcolm Jenkins, and I would love to continue the tradition into the honey badger. I think that would be a nice progression. So yeah, we'll see. I'm
going to pull up a list real quick of noted players that are still there. I would like
to
with you, after the AJ Brown thing happened, I knew the Eagles weren't going to get back into the first round for another third pick.
Mm-hmm.
So once the AJ Brown thing happened, I figured their night was probably done for the most part.
Right.
So I checked out after that pick. So I'm not even sure who's still available. I'm going to pull up a list real quick. So but in the meantime, let me ask you, non-Eagles players or non-Eagles picks, who's maybe the 2 or 3 players that intrigue you the most to where they went, all that kind of
stuff? Obviously the linebacker in Georgia. I was curious to see where he was going to end up.
Where did he go?
Actually, let me get back. I'm gonna get back into the.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Right now,
talking about Neal, right? Or
Dean. I'm talking about Dean.
Yeah, Dean, that's what I meant. Yeah, Dean. Neal's the offensive lineman. Dean. As far as I can see, is he still out there?
I thought he was already gone. I thought he was gone.
He is there. He is still available.
He didn't get picked last night?
He did not get picked last night. Nope, he did not get picked.
Wow. That's surprising. To me. I thought for sure he'd be a first day guy.
Nakobe Dean headlines the best available players still out there, along with Malik Willis.
Obviously, the Jameson Williams pick for the Detroit. It's such a dead franchise. I just don't know what's possible they could pull off. Like I said, like you said before about the Commanders, the Jahan Dotson pick with pairing him with Laura on the other side, that could be dangerous, especially in our division. I thought the Jets The Jets actually,
3 first-round picks.
yeah, the Jets get
Sauce.
Sauce Gardner,
They got
and they got Garrett Wilson,
Garrett, and they got
Jermaine Johnson.
yeah, defensive
Yeah.
end, I believe.
Yeah, so the Jet I like the idea of getting Zach Wilson, my Zach Wilson, getting him a receiver. Sauce Gardner was cream of the crop in the cornerback. So they're starting to put some pieces together.
Jets fans are hoping that he's much more Revis and much less D. Milner.
Right. So they're starting to put some.
And his comp is a guy I would absolutely take. His comp is Antonio Cromartie,
which is
I would take him in a heartbeat. The only thing I didn't like about Sauce, smaller school. He went to Cincinnati.
Right.
Granted, the Kelsey brothers went to Cincinnati. They make good players. That's the only knock against him is that, I mean, if I have the choice between him, what was it, Devin Singletary, I think his name is.
Mm-hmm.
The other, I mean, he played at LSU.
Right.
Would you rather have an LSU DB or Cincinnati?
Yeah, I completely agree. A little bit of history happened last night. First time the NFL opened up with 4 straight defensive picks since 1991.
Actually, there was 5.
Well, yeah, with 4 in a row, 91 was the last time that happened, which is crazy.
Wow.
But you don't really see that very often.
Well, no. What I mean is wasn't there? I'm pretty sure that it was 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, the first 5 picks were all defensive, not just the first 4.
Yes, and I will say it's interesting too that once again the Packers do not draft Aaron Rodgers a wide receiver in the first round. I don't know what that's about. I don't understand that. To save my life, what they're doing.
They just hate him.
Why they won't give him?
Do they hate him?
Yeah, Devontae. Well, I blame. I said this to you before. I blame the Devontae Adams situation more on him than the organization, because if you look at Tom Brady. What did Tom Brady always do with his contracts? He always cuts and trims.
Yeah, but also part of that is that Devontae Adams and Derek Carr are like brothers separated at birth.
Yeah, that's great, but I feel like if the Packers would have paid him, he stays. He didn't want to be franchised again.
Yeah, but
I mean, I feel. Well, listen, correct me if I'm wrong. I felt like I know. Yeah, Derek Carr and Devontae Adams. Yes, you're right. But I felt like
they've known each other since they were teenagers.
Right. Yeah, and I'm not taking that away. But listen, money talks, man.
I mean, money does talk, but you know what else?
It'd have been okay to stay there.
Yeah, but I mean, would you rather live in Green Bay, Wisconsin, or Las Vegas with
all
income tax?
All valid. But if the Packers had paid him, he would be there, and Aaron Rodgers was part of the reason why they couldn't pay him. There's a big reason why they didn't pay him. That contract he got was ridiculous.
I mean, there's a lot of blame to go around for that issue.
Yeah, so
none of which I blame Devontae, though.
Right. So yeah, I agree. So that was surprising to me that the Packers didn't get a first round
take on Pickett.
I was surprised how high he went.
Let me ask you this.
I mean, I don't listen. We've heard of chatter about him by his hands. I don't know.
That's big.
I mean, I'm saying we've heard chatter about his hands. People saying about the small hands, and I don't know. Eventually, because it's so hard with a guy like that because play Pitt. How often do we watch Pitt games?
I watch Pitt.
I don't know.
I'll tell you, the only time I watch Pitt is when I'm watching them lose to Penn State.
Right. We don't get a lot of Pitt games around here. So I mean, I don't know. This was not I'm glad the Eagles didn't do that thing the Eagles do where they kind of tie their horse to a wagon of a quarterback and you're stuck with a guy and we have no idea how he's going to pan out. This wasn't the year for that because the quarterbacks weren't great this year. And it was said that. That's why they didn't go after one. And that's really why Jalen Hurts is getting another year because they couldn't make a trade. And there's no guy out here in this draft you want to, hitch your wagon to. So that being said, I think that, I don't know what to think about Kenny Pickett. I mean, who knows? The hands thing is going to be an issue. I mean, it could be a major issue. We'll see.
Let me ask you this: if the Dwayne Haskins tragedy doesn't happen, do they take Pickett?
I mean, probably not. Because I mean, you gotta assume Trubisky's the guy this year out there, and then Pickett's. Well, Mason Rudolph is still there. I guess him and Mason Rudolph be competing for that second spot. Who knows? But you drafted for depth, I guess. Because Trubisky, and all signs are pointing, Trubisky is the guy who's going to be starting, barring anything insane happening.
I'll tell you why Pickett's hand size is an issue. Okay. I don't care that he played college football at Pitt. And what I mean by that is that he's a cold weather guy. I don't care about that.
Right.
Okay. When you're think about it in the terms of a basketball player. Okay. Mm-hmm. How much harder would it be for a player to dunk if he couldn't palm the ball?
Right.
If he actually had, I can't palm a basketball. I don't know if you can. I can't. My hands are not big enough to palm a ball.
I can, but
granted, I'm also not going up.
I don't do it easily.
Granted, I'm also not playing very much basketball above the rim. However, I would have to use two hands to dunk the ball. Same concept is obviously a football is smaller. Most people can hold a football in one hand. But it's this, Marcus. It's cold out. You can't feel your fingers, and you're doing this motion. And you have people coming and swatting at your hand.
Right.
Swatting at your hand.
Right.
Drew Brees has notoriously huge hands for his size. Peyton Manning. You watch Peyton Manning wrapping his hand around a football is like you wrapping your hand around a can of soda. You're not going to knock that ball out.
Right.
That's why I'm worried about the tiny hands. But, so Kenny Pickett has the smallest hands as a quarterback in the whole NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who has the second?
No, who?
Joe Burrow. So, I say that to say this. There's exceptions to every single rule.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just, do you think Kenny Pickett is the standard or the exception? Because Joe Burrow is the exception, and I can't imagine Kenny Pickett is as well.
I thought it was interesting that the Falcons took Drake London. Not that he's not a great player.
He's a big man.
You just don't have a quarterback. So I'm just confused.
Yeah. What they're doing, I believe.
Kyle Pitts has to be out there what the hell, bro?
No. They're doing the same thing that I think the Eagles are. Because Mariota is clearly a stopgap quarterback for them.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have Pitts.
Mm-hmm.
They have Drake London. Next year, they're going to get back the guy got suspended. I can't remember his name right now.
Calvin
Ridley. They're gearing up this team to when they go and get their quarterback next year, they're going to have weapons. They're doing something similar to the Eagles. They're loading up the offense for the next guy.
Yeah.
Whereas the Eagles, I hope it's the next guy. But anyway.
Right. Yeah, but anyway, back to Philly centric. This was a great night for Philly. Everything that needed to be accomplished was accomplished. Let's take a break.
Okay.
And then on the other side, we'll dive back into the Sixers for a little bit, and talk some Sixers basketball.
Love it.
And then we'll see what happens. Bradman in the morning, Mark's Bradman. Justin, we'll be right back.
Oh, don't forget what comes out today, Marcus.
Ozarks.
Yes, sir. Looking for authentic Mexican food close to home? Great news. District Taco is just around the corner in Abington, Pennsylvania, and they'd love to fiesta with you. Offering delicious fish tacos, a California burrito stuffed with guac, steak, fries, and chipotle mayo, plus sweet, crispy churros. District Taco has it all. Try out the newest location and come back for more. Get 10% off your first in-app order with promo code BREMI10. Always fresh, always Mexican, District Taco.
Relationships can be tough, and finding that special someone can be even tougher. So when it's time to make a decision on what to do with the ring, you don't want to have that be tough too, right? Hi, I'm Marcus Brown. I'd like to talk to you guys, my friends at Vans Jewelers, located at 13 South York Road in the heart of Hatboro. Back in 2017, when I decided to get engaged, there was only one choice for me. Going into Vans Jewelers, I was quite nervous, but they put me at ease right away with their friendly staff and their easy selection. They have selections for any budget. Rings, watches, chains, earrings, you name it, they got it. They also offer free ultrasonic cleaning and stone checks on any ring. Vans Jewelers also provides cleanings while you wait every Tuesday through Friday. What else do you want? You can't beat it. Go see my friends at Vans Jewelers, located again at the heart of Hatboro, 13 South York Road.
Justin here. Let me tell you about my friends over at Beef Jerky Outlet. A family-owned business, Sharon and Michael have the best jerky around. They have a huge selection to choose from, but always make sure to try my personal favorite, the Honey Barbecue Turkey Jerky. Don't think they only have jerky for sale. They also have the best supply of sauces, marinades, and rubs for all of your new recipes. Located at 110 Lincoln Highway, right by Oxford Valley Mall. Head on over there, go in and say, yo, Justin sent me.
Every Friday, we're bringing you bits, but it's especially hilarious to me knowing what I've seen happen in McDonald's locations over the years. Hell, what I've done in McDonald's locations over the years. Hits.
Always winterize your pipes. I think that is such a funny...
And everything in between. Nah, see, it's the opposite. You don't see it, and he was totally about eating that baby. We are Twitty and the Brand. We're going to ruin something that you love. New episodes weekly on all your favorite podcast streamers.
Yeah, man, welcome back. Brown in the morning. Marcus Brown, Justin Emery.
Yo, April 29th. We got a couple of things to get to today. First, happy birthday to Master P. Happy 52nd birthday, Master P. Also, 1981, Steve Carlton becomes the first lefty to rack up 3,000 Ks. Think about that.
Slider.
The first lefty to rack up 3,000 Ks didn't happen until like 90 years into the sport being played.
Remarkable.
And then I think we have any more birthdays today real quick. Fairly slow day. Oh, yes, forgot. Jerry Seinfeld, happy birthday. Willie Nelson, happy birthday. Michelle Pfeiffer. Uma Thurman. And Dale Earnhardt. Today's a big birthday day. That sums it up for the birthdays. And as always, when it's only this time of the year, for the most part, the sports history stuff is fairly slow because there's not as many sports going on.
How cool was it last night? Because Joel Embiid, he has a PhD in trolling. When he throws the airplane up, I hope a lot of people caught that reference. That was a reference to Game 3 years ago.
Yes.
We haven't seen the airplane since then. That's when he threw that tomahawk dunk down, and he runs in the Wells Fargo on the airplane, runs to the corner, and puts his hand in his ear. That was a shout out to that moment, which was so cool. I just read a tweet from someone that said, a very cool moment for Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid closing out a series in this building. It had to be for those guys, that had to be a moment. Is there anyone else left from that team? Is it just those two from that team?
Wasn't Shake on that team? And
I don't think he was.
I think Korkmaz was. He's been here for too long.
Yeah, he's been here. I think Korkmaz. I don't think he was playing, but I think he was on that team. But he doesn't matter. He wasn't playing. But for those guys, that had to be such a moment to finish off a series in that building after the horror of 2019, and how hard that had to be for them, and now be able to walk out that building with a 35-point closeout victory. That had to be really awesome for them.
Before we dive into the Sixers, Foley, one last thing. Did you see the tweet that I tagged you in this morning?
Oh, I just caught it this morning. yeah, it's man.
Are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. But if you're an NFL guy,
be careful.
like you. Well, I mean, a professional athlete. Period. But Justin sent me a picture of.
So what I did. So obviously the draft is in Vegas, and so I'll just give everybody real fast backstory. Obviously, besides doing this show, I produce for DraftKings. For the actual studios that they use are all based in Vegas. So everything that's going on for the NFL draft, all the people that I work with at DraftKings are all right there in the middle of everything because it's happening in Vegas. Well, one of the higher ups there tweeted out a picture from Circa Casino, which is where one of the studios is in downtown Vegas. And it's also, Marcus, have you seen the legendary pictures of Stadium Swim, that giant rooftop pool? That's the same casino. That's all the same. So I've been to Stadium Swim. However, I actually do not recommend going there. You know why? I'll tell you. Lot of dudes. You'd think you're going to this big, beautiful rooftop pool. You're like, oh, yeah, I'm in Vegas. No, Marcus, lot of dudes. You know why? Because it's a rooftop gambling bar in Vegas. You go there, you bet. It's got to be, no exaggeration, a 13 to 15 to 1 ratio, men to women.
Okay.
But this picture, the caption, there must be something going on in Vegas. This is Circa right now. There is no less than 20 to 30 younger women, scantily dressed, just waiting, hanging around the lobby.
Yeah, if you're an athlete, you gotta learn how to Eurostep that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Your wife's not down there, bro.
No, trust me.
Avoid that at all costs.
As someone who has been to Circa on a random Tuesday when nothing's going on, lot of dudes. That is not natural. Fellas, be careful.
So let's get back to Sixers.
I did see somebody commented on the picture though and was like, yo, those look like infested waters.
Yeah, definitely big time. The Sixers though. So after last night's game, where's your confidence?
Never deleting the Bluebird app ever.
Where's your confidence heading into series with the Heat? Where are you at?
So after games 1 through 3, I'm at like an 8.5. After games 4 and 5, I'm down to a 2. If we're going on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to decisively sit in the middle at 5 after that game. I was encouraged and it boosted my spirits. But I do not have the same confidence I did pre-Embiid thumb. Despite the fact of how everything went yesterday, I still have a lot of apprehension. Obviously, I'm only at a 5, coming from an 8 to a 2 to a 5. But
listen,
I now foresee. At first, I thought that I didn't think they're going to get swept. Sixers are too good of a team to get swept.
Yeah,
I thought this might be Heat in 5, though. I'm now more along the lines of Heat in 6. I still think the Heat are going to win. I think it will go 6. However, once you're discussing a series going 6 games, it can very, very, very easily go to 7. So,
agreed. And we have to look at it this way too. Like
as long as King of Diamonds is close.
If game 1, 2, and 6 Sixers show up, they can beat anybody any night. 1, 2, 6 can beat anybody any night.
Yes, agreed.
3, 4, 5, Because listen, we got to be honest with ourselves. They win game 3. They didn't play well.
No, they didn't take the lead until Embiid hit the game-winning shot.
And we were okay with that because we had games 1 and 2 before that.
Yes.
We had the way they played in games 4 and 5 before game 3, we wouldn't be feeling as good.
No.
But we had games 1 and 2, so that's why we were feeling so good.
Yep.
And we tolerated game 3 and we're exhilarated because Embiid hits a game-winning shot. You have 3, all of that. But we know in that Heat series, we can't get 3, 4, 5 Sixers. We need 1, 2, 6.
Majority of that series, they were actually outplayed. Right. I understand they won the series 4-2, but the majority of that series, they were outplayed.
And you're getting a similar matchup this round, where in the sense that the Heat are a team, they play very, very hard. Heat culture is about playing hard. They're going to do those similar things, the 50-50 balls, the offensive rebounding. That's the type of stuff they live on. They live off stuff like that. Now, they're a more talented version than the Raptors,
Yes.
but they are a similar type of team the way they're wired. Now, we'll say this. Very important to note, they're coming in here banged up a little bit too. Kyle Lowry missed the last couple games with his hamstring. Jimmy Butler sat out game 5 against the Hawks with inflammation in his knee. So they're a little banged up also. So, I always liked this side of the bracket when the Sixers got to here because I thought this was a nice path for them to get the Eastern Conference Finals. They had a nice path because I love the matchup against the Raptors, and I like the matchup against I think they match up well against the Heat. I think they can exploit a lot of things against the Heat. I think they can do that. Joel Embiid's a matchup nightmare for anybody, but I also think the Sixers guards match up very well with the Heat guards because the Heat don't have super athletic guards. Tyrese Maxey will be able to drive by any of their guards at any point in time. That's not going to be an issue. So I like the matchup. I am struggling because, again, I don't know what team's going to show up. The Sixers have played 6 games in the playoffs. 3 times they've been one team. 3 times they've been a completely different team. So it all depends on who you get. If we get one, like I said, we get 1, 2, and 6, they win this series.
Yes.
They win this series, and they might win it in less than 7 if we get those games. We get 3, 4, and 5, this could be over 6. This could be over quick. Because they just can't play that way because it's a more talented team. So we'll see. I'm really looking forward to this series. This is going to be an absolute war.
Yes.
An absolute war bloodbath type of series.
Both the Eastern Conference series will be like that.
Yes. Middleton, I don't know how far out he is. They're going to need him for the series. They can't beat that team without Middleton. I don't like him with Middleton, but I definitely don't like him without Middleton. They need another option in the backcourt. Holiday won't be enough. Because without Middleton, they are not nearly as athletic enough to contend with the backcourt and front court of Celtics. And now you got Robert Williams back full time healthy going into the series too. I don't like the Bucks' chances at all. They'll compete because you still have Giannis and you still do have Holiday and you got some pieces there. They'll compete. They won't get swept by any means, but I don't like them at all. I think if the Sixers can survive the Heat, the Celtics will be waiting on this side of the bracket.
It's going to be a war.
It is.
For the Celtics, Bucks, but I don't know how they're going to stop Giannis. Like
they have the luxury. They have the luxury of throwing a lot of different defenders at him. A lot. You got so we talked. It's so funny too, right? Like 3 months ago, you asked me. I don't even know why. Why were we even talking about the Celtics? But we were. You asked me 3 months ago about just before they got hot.
Mm-hmm.
You asked me about what's going on in Boston.
Yep.
And I broke down Jason Tatum's refusal to play defense.
Yep.
And how it's affecting the culture of the team. And all of a sudden, Jason Tatum has said, I'm going to play some defense now. And it's changed everything. And, so they now have multiple guys that can throw at Giannis. Because with Giannis, the problem with Giannis is if you only have 1 or 2 guys in guard him, what's going to happen? He's going to get you in foul trouble. The Celtics have a lot of guys that can throw at him. You could put Marcus Smart on him for a couple minutes. Obviously, Tatum, Brown. You can either eat up some Daniel Tice minutes on him. You can throw Robert Williams at him for a couple minutes. That's Al Horford can guard him for a couple minutes. So literally, that's your entire starting lineup. You can take spells and turns of spelling him for a couple minutes. Now, listen, Giannis is going to get his, but having those options to not get your main guys in foul trouble is a big deal. And spreading the wealth about who's guarding him and who can see him. And again, without Middleton, Giannis is going to need some help. He can't do it by himself. And Holiday is not a volume scorer. Holiday can get you 16 to 19 points a game, but Holiday's not going to go off for 30, 35.
Holiday, I would look at Holiday as like the glue.
Yeah, 1,000%.
He's the frosting on top. He's the toppings. He holds everything together.
1,000%.
Is he the base of it? No.
Right.
But he's what you put to get you over the top. Obviously, look at what happened last year.
Yeah. 1,000%. Completely agree with you. So, they're going to struggle in that sense. It'll be a fun series, but I think the main event on the Eastern Conference is Heat Sixers.
Yeah.
It's the main event on the Eastern Conference. We'll see what happens. I mean, we'll talk about it on Monday. Break that down, get more in depth into the matchups. We'll see. I mean, I'm sure like you, I feel much better after watching what I watched last night.
Much better.
I give him a chance. I'm with you.
Oh,
It'd be silly for me to favor him in this series, but I give him a chance.
can we discuss that weird ass Doc Rivers press conference the other day?
After Game 5?
Where I think it was Wednesday afternoon, I think, where he went on that whole tirade about defending his legacy. Did you not hear about this?
No.
He had a press conference after shoot around on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, Howard Eskin actually asked him the question.
Of course he did.
Now, I don't remember exactly word for word the question, but it was basically, with your track record of blown leads, are you worried about it? Is basically what the question was. Like I said, I forget exactly how it was worded.
Which is fair.
There's been 13 in the history of the NBA, and you have 3 of them.
This started back in 2009. It's like one of those companies where it's like blowing leads since 2009.
Yes,
Doc Rivers.
Yes. So he asked him. You know what? Doc turns around and goes like this. He goes, "I wish you guys would tell the full story about me." He's like, my Orlando team was an ace seed going up against Detroit. He goes, secondly, the series, Chris Paul got hurt and missed the first 2 games. He goes, and the third one was in the bubble, and it doesn't count because no one had home court advantage. So,
but he's missing a lot of different series.
Well, here's the thing: is he goes on and said, in his defense, he makes a factually incorrect statement. He goes and says, "quote I get no credit for my Orlando team being up 3-1 against Detroit, who won the title." Marcus, who won the title in 2003?
It's the Lakers.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, Spurs.
There you go. So, Doc, if you want me to tell the whole story, that's fine. I'll tell the story about how you blew the 3-1 lead to Detroit, who won the title the following season after trading for Rasheed Wallace. So, no.
Yeah, I don't even think
they didn't lose to the championship.
That was Jersey Spurs, I believe.
Yes. You are 100% correct.
Yeah, I mean, and no one
Doc,
you were fine, and nobody said anything about your Orlando days. Orlando days, you were heralded. This all started in 2009, and he's not mentioning when he blew the 3-2 to the Heatles.
Well, then let's talk about how the fact that he has a almost 500% winning percentage, or almost 50% winning percentage in closeout games, regardless of what the series is.
Yeah, he's not talking about the 2012 to the Heat.
In 24 years, he has gone 5 days without being named a head coach.
2010 blows the lead to the Lakers in the finals, 3-2. All those Clippers teams that were really good teams blew leads to them. Blew leads to the Spurs. Blew leads to the Warriors. And listen, the bubble, you're right. There was no home court advantage, but it still happened. You still blew a 3-1 lead. That's why you're not there. That's why they fired you.
And here's the thing. You said that Chris Paul missed the first 2 games and was playing on one leg. Okay? He missed the first 2 games. You know what the record was after those 2 games? 1-1. What did Chris Paul do when he came back? He only averaged 22 and 14.
Right.
Only averaged 22 and 14, Marcus. Nothing to see here. Just 22 and 14.
At the end of the day, it's really simple. If you want to stop the narrative of blowing leads, stop blowing leads.
Win.
It doesn't mean I think Doc Rivers. I think he's a good coach. I think he's a really good coach. But this has happened. We can't say it hasn't happened. It's documented. You get to a certain point, and then it falls off a cliff.
He thinks he's Pop. That's the issue. He thinks he's Pop.
He said as much.
He thinks he's Phil Jackson. I would say only 2 Well, Phil Jackson, obviously, he's retired now. But there's only 2 active coaches that can do whatever. Well, all right. Maybe 3 active coaches in pro sports that can do whatever they want unquestionable. Do you know who they are?
Belichick.
1.
Pop.
2.
I go Spoelstra. Spoelstra can do whatever he wants. Like Spoelstra is like,
but he's not in the same like class as these 3 that I'm talking to about.
I mean, listen, Belichick is. I think he's. I would put him close.
Third one's Andy Reid.
Yeah, I think Spoelstra's in there with Reid. I put Spoelstra in there.
You think Spoelstra?
Belichick. No. Yes, I do. I really do. Yeah, absolutely.
I would.
He's a remarkable coach.
No. I'm not talking about how good he is. I'm talking about accomplishments.
Well, Reid. I mean, listen. If you want to be fair, Reid. I mean, he got a Super Bowl, but that resume has a lot of choke jobs in it also.
Well, yeah, but isn't he the second all-time winningest coach as far as wins go?
Right, but like Reid's comparable really to
I think he's the only coach to make it to 4 consecutive title games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, a lot of history.
Like, there's levels between greatness.
1,000%.
That's why we have the tables for the Hall of Fame. Like
Right.
there's levels to greatness.
Right.
Spoelstra's a great coach, but he's not Popovich. He's not Belichick. He's not Phil Knight. But I take him over Doc.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's, listen, now, you brought up Doc, so that's another thing is Spoelstra is, and this is what scares me too about the series is Spoelstra is really good at in-game adjustments.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
really good at game-to-game adjustments. They're going to throw some wrinkles in that they've been saving for the Sixers. He's known. I'm sure Spoelstra's kind of been, even before Game 5. I mean, look at what they did to Trae Young. They put Trae Young in a penitentiary. I've never seen
Trae Young overrated.
No,
Okay.
no, I don't believe he's overrated.
I believe a lot of overrated talk this week.
I believe Miami
just put him in a zip.
Well, I mean, it depends. Well, who's rating him? I guess is the question I would ask. Because, I have him.
Would you consider him a superstar?
No.
How about a star?
Yes.
Okay, that's fair. I would say that would you rather? Here, I'll give you guys, and you just say either or. Okay.
Okay.
Trae Young or Donovan Mitchell?
Spider.
Okay. Trae Young or Jalen Brunson?
Oh, man. Well, I mean, Trae Young, he has a better resume, right? I mean, Jalen Brunson has been consistently good, but the level he played when Luka was out in the playoffs, we hadn't seen that before. So Trae Young.
Trae Young or Tyler Hero?
Trae Young.
Trae Young or Tyrese Maxey?
Trae Young.
But we got to be talking razor thin margins on these.
I think. I mean, the Maxey conversation. We need more from Maxey. Like
Aaron Fox or Trae Young.
Trae Young, because he's done. We've seen Trae Young do it on large stages.
But when you look at it, the large stage happened once. That was against a smoke and mirrors, judging off of what happened this year, last year against the Knicks. A Knicks team that was what they said. Well,
and he played well. He played well against Milwaukee. He had a good series against them.
Yeah, but look at what he did this series against the Heat. But I give credit. Last year seems to be more of a flash in a pan than the standard for him.
See, I think sometimes we make the mistake of not giving people the proper due. The Heat did a great job on him. They put him on a penitentiary.
They did, but if you're walking around Madison Square Garden, giving the chills, walking around with ice cube trays, then I need you to score more than 11 points in a closeout game.
Fair, but again,
you can lose.
Miami did a phenomenal job.
That's a 1-8 seed. I get that.
I've never seen
him
him
need more than 11 points, and he didn't have a great series as a whole. So if you're going to come in here shivering with ice cube trays, I need more than 11 points in a closeout game.
Yeah, I mean, but I think it's a little unfair. He's still a pup, number one. And number two, Like I said, Miami was so disciplined. They were so disciplined in the way they guarded him. They had 5 guys switching at all times. They took away everything that he can do. They did a great job on him. I mean, I don't believe for a second. I think he's going to be fine. He's a really good NBA player. He's a star right now. He has potential to be a superstar. And, you know, Trae Young's big time. He's had a bad series. He's had a bad series, and that happens.
You can't say that based off of what you said previously in this episode. You can't say that Trae Young is a baby, he's a pup, and he's not ready, when in the exact other breath you say that we need more from Tyrese Maxey, but you'd rather have Trae Young over Tyrese Maxey. You can't, all those statements can't be true.
Absolutely they can. I'm talking about my team, Tyrese Maxey on this team right here. I need more from him.
But you
can't. I'm not saying Trae Young didn't. I'm not arguing with he didn't deliver. You're right, he didn't deliver, but he didn't deliver because Miami did a phenomenal job.
You can't say you need, like, you can't give Trae Young the he's a pup argument, the defense, and not give the same thing to Tyrese.
Well,
Trae Young is older and has been in the league.
Ridiculous argument because Tyrese Maxey doesn't have the same pressure he does. Tyrese Maxey's not carrying a franchise. Tyrese Maxey right now is the third option. Trae Young is a number one.
He's a second option.
We think so, but he's not. He doesn't have the pressure that Trae Young has a city on his back. Trae Young is the face of the franchise of Atlanta. Maxey doesn't have that responsibility, not even a little bit. He's never had to have that responsibility. Now, when he does, I'll be fair to him in that role. But in his role right now, Maxey's role right now, yes, I need you to be that guy every night. I don't expect Maxey to be the face of the franchise. I don't give him that. When I say that Trae Young's a pup, I mean in the ability to carry a franchise. He's carrying a franchise.
I still disagree with it.
That's fine, but I mean, I think Trae Young, you know, last year, everything he did, he showed you he could be box office. He was. This year didn't work out, but it's like, look at Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant was made to look ridiculous for basically 4 games. He had a good game, game 4, but other than that, he looked crazy. So is Kevin Durant still not the best basketball player on the planet? No, he is.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, is that I think we just fundamentally disagree with the baseline for Trae Young.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you're saying that he showed last year that he can be box office.
Yes.
In my opinion, he's just high mid. That's it. He's just a high mid. That's what you're getting. He ain't box office. He's high mid. Box office to me is Kyrie. It's Tatum. It's Luka. Can you believe that people actually said, man, the Mavs should have taken Young instead of Luka? Can you imagine people actually say that still?
No.
No, I'm saying they
I know. No, I mean, I didn't think so at the time. I don't think
Speaking of Luka.
Yeah.
Your guy.
Luka's gonna Luka.
Your guy.
That's my guy. That's my guy.
Are you gonna did you have the jersey out or no?
I had it sitting next to me.
Did you? Okay.
Just on the side. Yeah, I mean they end up closing out a Jazz team. We talked about it a little bit last week, but they got that thing's gotta be broken up. Get out of there.
You think Spider goes to
you need to break that up.
You think Spider goes to the Knicks? That's what the rumor is now.
That would be a good news. New York needs a guy like that. They need someone like that.
The rumor has it is that Spider, if he's going to request a trade, is going to request to go to the Knicks to play with Julius Randle.
I love Donovan Mitchell. I really do. I think he's, you know, a premier talent in the NBA. They got it's just not working out there. It's not working. This series, if I'm a Utah fan, I'm embarrassed. You don't have Luka for the first 2 games, and you end up splitting in Dallas. Then you lose game 3 at home in almost a blowout fashion. You know, you barely, like, literally, and the victory, the game 4 victory you had shouldn't have happened, because if Dwight Powell makes his free throws, they're up 3-1, they close you out in Dallas. Dallas dominated that series, and they only had Luka for 3 games, which is ridiculous. And, well, I'm going to give Jason Kidd a lot of credit, because he got Dallas doing something they haven't done and since Luka Reign has played defense. They're playing defense. I like the fact that he got in Luka's ear earlier. Like, listen, Luka, You're a great player, but you're fat. Get your ass in shape. which was, I mean, at the time it was true. Luka came in this season out of shape, doing a lot of pizza in Italy, some wine.
Well, where
Luka tour.
was it? Was it in Greece that he was spotted like on that yacht? I think it was in Greece.
Yeah, and then there was some shots of him.
Barcelona. I mean, let's.
Luka was living his life.
Luka's the king of Europe.
Oh, no question. No question. And I'm not mad at it, but like with everything else in life, there has to be a balance. And like he's a guy that can get a little doughy. He doesn't have the metabolism of other players. So
him and Jokic very much are the same.
Right. So he needs to make sure he's maintaining that.
Same body composition. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and he needs to make sure that he's maintaining that. And Jason Kidd had a candid conversation with him. Luke got himself in shape, lost some weight, and now he's back to doing Luka things. Who do they get? Who do they get next this round now? What bracket are they on?
Don't they draw?
The Warriors will play Memphis if Memphis wins tonight.
So then
they're going to play the Suns.
Phoenix. Yes, Phoenix.
And this is a problem for Phoenix because the Devin Booker situation. If they don't get him back to series, I don't know.
What did they say? I think they said 2 to 3 weeks. If I heard that correctly,
like that. And that was about
a week ago,
2 weeks ago.
No.
But you know what it is. But you know how it is with a hamstring. You know, hamstrings they're funny. 2 to 3 weeks. Who knows is going to be 100% Devin Booker by 2 to 3 weeks. I mean, usually hamstring. I mean, I don't know if it's severe, how severe it is, if it's mild. I'm not sure. But hamstrings are tricky, especially for a guy like Devin Booker who makes his money on dribble drives and makes his money with really tough shots, getting into the lane, those fast twitch muscles. It could be a problem.
Kendall's like, hey, Devin, like,
yeah,
you gotta get back out there, bro.
Yeah, that'll be a fun series. Listen, whoever
this has been great playoffs.
It really is.
Now, granted, did they fumble the ball yesterday on the scheduling going up against the first round of the NFL draft? Yes, they did. They fumbled that.
Yes.
However, as a whole, man, has this been great playoffs so far.
And if you haven't been watching the Grizzlies Wolves series, shame on you. That's been a really, really fun first round series. Back and forth, young kids doing their thing. The future of the league, a lot of the futures of the league in that series. It's been really fun. Now, whoever out of those two teams, whoever ends up playing the Warriors or is a sacrificial lamb. I don't think either can compete with Golden State.
Clay's back.
Yeah, Clay's back. Jordan Poole's balling. Steph's a 6-man now. Coming off the bench, dropping 35.
Yo, did you see? I think he was the second player ever to score 30.
Of course, he was
in a single series as both a starter.
Yeah, ridiculous.
And a bench player.
Ridiculous. So they're back on full strength. You know what I love? Well, man, you want to hear my dream? Give me a Dallas Mavericks Golden State Warriors Western Conference Final. Give me Draymond Green guarding Luka Doncic. Give it to me. Put that in my veins. Put it in my veins every day. I will be absolutely, as you say, I will be insufferable. Golden State West Conference Final. Insufferable.
Now, here's the thing, Marcus. How do we petition that to go 7 games?
That series? Yeah. Please 7.
I need it to go 7.
I need that to go 7 because what you're gonna get is Draymond. He does a lot of people. See, Draymond is not just good at the physical warfare. He's also great at the psychological warfare of basketball. But Luka's not a guy you can do that with because that's what the Clippers tried to do to him a couple years ago is punk him in the bubble. We got the Marcus Morris was talking and Montrezl Harrell talking to him crazy. That ain't gonna work with Luka. Luka ain't built like that. So that'll be and then you got Steph and Clay. Give it to me. Put that in my veins.
Well, I mean, the thing is, everybody knows that Luka speaks English.
Yes.
He should have just taken a page out of Yao Ming's book. Oh, you have you not heard the story?
Oh, yeah, oh yes, with was it
Him and Shaq.
with Shaq? Yeah.
So about Shaq, he's like Shaq would just be running his mouth the whole time. He's like, I would just pretend like I didn't speak English.
Right.
He's like, after a while, Shaq just would give up because he's like, all right, I'm wasting my time.
Right.
And then he goes after the game. He's like, it's like the 4th or 5th time after we played. After the game, I go up to him and shake his hand and say in perfect English, "Great game, Shaq." And you see the look on his face.
That's awesome.
But he's like Shaq just talks and talks and talks.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's
When you see Shaq, when Shaq ever gets a bucket when he's running down the court, it was hard to put the camera on his face because he's cussing up a storm, cussing out everybody in the stands, everybody telling people about themselves running back down the court.
yeah.
It's like Stone Cold Steve Austin walking to the ring.
You know what I need? A completely uncensored dissing contest between Shaq and Kevin Garnett.
That would be amazing.
I need
You
that.
gave me an idea.
Okay.
You know what needs to happen? I don't know if the NBA probably they couldn't do this because the family or whatever. What I would love to have happen is if they can have some side company release uncensored NBA play. Like the things these guys are saying to each other on the court.
You know what I need released more than anything else? And that is the audio from the Super Bowl of Tyrann Mathieu and Tom Brady.
Brady.
I need that.
I need that audio. Yeah,
There's some foul things said.
yeah, there was a lot of weird things being said back and forth between those two.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some mentions about Giselle in there.
Yeah, Brady apologized for his portion of it.
Like there was some foul things said to each other.
1,000%.
I need to know what was said.
But yeah, the NBA playoffs have been absolutely amazing. I know we're running out of time, but this was it's just crazy listening to us today, and as opposed to listening to us Wednesday where we were.
Oh, it's like a different
again, I'm gonna close the show the way I opened it. That, my friends, is the beauty of sports, and that's why we love it so much.
We came into the show dancing.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
like what did you say? You were like 4-game sweep.
Beautiful day in the neighborhood. Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's the beauty of sports is why we love it, is that, you can have those days, but those days we have like Wednesday make Thursday worth it. And we just spent 24 hours. It's roses. It's sunshine. And all again, we're back. We're in the second round. Listen, I'm not going to say they're the favorite, but we have a decent shot. The football team is getting their stuff together. They're competing. The baseball team is back to 500. They're raking 36 runs in 32 innings, even though, Colorado threw up themselves a lot this week, but we'll take it. It's very rare you see 7 runs on 4 hits the other night, but we'll take it. Zach Wheeler seems to be getting the fastball back. It's starting to elevate. We'll take it. I'm not going to be over dramatic. They play the Mets this weekend. I'm not going to say it's a big series, but they play the Mets this weekend.
They play the Mets 7 of the next 10 games.
Yes. So we'll see if they can stay hot and keep the bats hot. Listen, when Schwarber starts hitting, it's over.
Yes.
He's not even hitting right now. When he starts hitting, it's a wrap.
I think that him getting ejected the other night would have been a turning point for the team.
Yes, and he had, like, Angel Hernandez needs to be shot directly into the sun.
So this is what we do. We've talked about this.
Away.
We've talked about this many times. Number one, what are some of the most mafia-like organizations in sports? We all know the MLB's Umpires Association.
Mm-hmm.
That's up there. The NCAA.
Mm-hmm.
That's up there.
Yeah.
FIFA. That's got to be up.
Oh
there.
yeah. Oh yeah.
The Olympic Committee.
Mm-hmm.
That's up there.
Mm-hmm.
What are some other things?
The NFL.
Yeah, but like it's not to the same level as
NFL's mafioso.
it is kind of mafia. All right, yeah. Yes, it is. Like those kind of things. Like what accountability does Angel Hernandez have?
None. No, and the call was egregious. It was really, really bad. It was bad, Justin.
Isn't this the same person who's tried to sue, or didn't he successfully sue the MLB because they tried to boot him out of the union for sucking?
I believe so. Yeah. People want him gone forever.
Him, granted, I know Joe West retired, but Cowboy Joe West. Like, if I know the name of the official, it's a problem.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
The only person I should know is the human bicep, Ed Hockley.
Hawk.
That's the only person I should
What
know.
was the dude? What was his name? Red. Dude, first down.
Yeah. Who?
Loved him.
Like, Tony something in the NBA. What's his name?
Is Tony Brothers? Is it?
Yeah, the one. Yeah, he's the dude that's he does every NBA game.
Yeah.
Scott Foster. Why do I know him?
He's horrible.
Well, I should not know him.
Yeah, he's horrible. It was really. I mean, we gotta get out of here. But yeah, it was some really bad calls in the Sixers game yesterday. But whatever. We're not gonna be negative because it's happy. It's positive. It's Friday. You ain't got no job. Get outside. Get the sun.
What you got on the schedule this weekend?
What am I doing this week? I'm telling you what I'm doing this weekend.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Afternoon, I'm taking Amber and the kids out to lunch.
Ooh,
this is the beauty about DoorDash. Is DoorDash shows you hidden gems that you would never know if you didn't do
I don't
DoorDash.
think we've brought this to light on the show yet, have we?
We haven't. But so I did a dash the other day.
Time out.
Yeah.
So we got to just put this out there.
Yeah.
Marcus and I, a couple weeks ago, found out that about working for.
Oh, no, you did. I'm giving you all the credit for this. If it wasn't for you.
Well, I actually have to give credit to my brother who told me about it. Now, he doesn't dash, but he has friends that do. And he was like, listen, he's like, I know. He's like, yeah, you have a job. I know you have a job, you work. But you have a lot of free time in between your workday.
Facts.
He's like, you should do DoorDash.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, I'll do DoorDash, blah, blah. Tried it. Ho, ho, ho. I called you on the phone. I said, Marcus, you got to be doing that. So, in the mornings, what do? We come on here and put on the best morning show. And then what do?
We go dash.
So I just had to put that out there because I don't think we availed that yet.
Yeah, and like you were talking about it because listen, we all know what DoorDash is, but you were talking about it and you were telling me, I was like, well, I have free time too. What am I doing from 11 to 3?
We're up in the morning and then we're done by 10 o'clock and then we just have all day.
It's awesome. So anyway, one of the perks is finding gyms that you would never know about. It's already happened a couple times, but there's one place. So I end up in Lambertville, New Jersey, and I end up down the side street, and it's this place called Nothing But Q. It's a barbecue spot. And I walk in. First of all, it's an open concept, which I love.
Love that.
Perfect for daylight tomorrow. Sit outside. I'm looking at this menu. And I'm like, yeah, I need to come back here with the family. Like this is happening. And Lambertville's not an egregious drive. On a nice day, windows down, it's a nice drive to Lambertville. So I'm like, you know what? We're gonna go out to lunch. I'm telling you, I got the brisket in there. They have the ribs, the mac and cheese. I saw it on the menu. It's a fried chicken sandwich with like sriracha mayo.
Done.
And yeah, it looked like I saw it. I was like, that's what I'm doing. That's
Monday,
it.
I need an entire breakdown on Monday.
Yes, I'm ordering that. I'm going to take some brisket home because I love brisket. And yeah, I will have an entire rundown. I love this time of year. I love some good barbecue cookout food.
Oh, hell yeah!
So like, so I'm ready. I'm ready to get it in. So that's what I'm doing Saturday, and then
nice,
just kind of hanging out.
Nice. No, you're right. It is good about finding hidden gems. Did I tell you about that place in Conshohocken the other day, the Mexican place?
No,
I didn't. Oh, it's called Coyote Crossing in Conshohocken.
Okay.
Elite. Sarah found it. Was like, hey, we need to go there. It is a little pricey than your typical Mexican place, but also it's gonna you pay for what you get there.
I'll pay for some good grub now.
Oh, it's.
I have no problem forking out change some good grub. No problem.
No, you absolutely, and like the ambiance is great. It's all A+.
There's another spot in Ambler. Ambler is if
Ambler is low key.
Ambler is a hidden gem of Bucks County, or I guess Montgomery County.
Yeah, I think
it's a hidden gem around its area. And I did a dash. There's a nice, I forget the name of it now, but it's a Mexican restaurant there. Outdoor seating right on the main strip. It smelled amazing. I was like, yeah. Well, see, whenever I go to a Mexican restaurant, one of those underground places, I always look for, because Mexican restaurants are famous for making sure their kids get to work immediately. So when I see like a 14 or 15-year-old running around a Mexican restaurant, I'm like, yeah. This is the spot I want.
Or if when they seat you, they bring you the chips and salsa.
Yes, that is a move. Yes,
You bring me the chips and salsa.
hot chips.
When I sit down, have you ever been to Don Pablo's?
No.
It's a chain. The closest one that I know of is in like Cherry Hill. That's what they do. They seat you, and the second they seat you, they bring you the chips and the sauce.
And the authentic Mexican music.
Yes.
Like the authentic, like, this came straight from Mexico.
Like if
like a mariachi band.
I need to be able to not understand a word you're saying.
Yes. And on all loud over the speakers.
Yes.
Obnoxiously over the speakers. I want that vibe.
Yes.
So that's what this place was. I was like, yes.
Sign me up. Sarah uncovered a list the other day on like Philly Voice, Visit Philly, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that we've talked about on the show a couple weeks ago. Best kid-friendly breweries in Philadelphia.
What?
Well, basically, they made a list. They made a list of places for me to avoid.
Okay. Yeah.
Now I know not to go to these places.
Right.
So that's that. Weekend. Sarah's got she's on call all weekend, so I'm probably gonna do a heavy DoorDash weekend because she's
You're flying solo.
Yeah, she's got once every 3 months she has to do a whole weekend of on call, and like she's like there's difference between like the way that like we're on call, like yeah you got to do this show, and then like no, like you got to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning for a medical emergency at the hospital.
Yeah, that's a different type of on call.
Yeah, so I'm probably gonna have a heavy DoorDash weekend.
Okay.
And then on Sunday is my mom's birthday, so probably whip.
Nice. Happy birthday, Mom Emery.
Yeah, yes, whip something up.
See, she's like Amber. So Amber it's Mother's Day, then her birthday is always the following week.
Yeah, my mom's always her birthday is always the birthday the week before.
Yeah.
Yes.
Double dipping.
Well, so in my family, birthdays are really solidified around holidays. Like my mom's is a week before Mother's Day. Mine is a week after Christmas. My dad's birthday is on Veterans Day. My brother's birthday is right around Halloween and Thanksgiving. So like everybody in our birthdays are all around holidays.
That's cool.
And then before we get out of here, guess what I used yesterday for the first time?
What's that?
Oh, what did I just get?
What's
the air fryer?
Oh, the air fryer. Yeah. Big air fryer talk.
Just did it for the first time yesterday.
How'd that go?
So I just wanted to get a gist of it. I wanted to just figure out what I was exactly doing and all that. So I just made some chicken fingers.
Okay.
It turned out great, but I didn't want to get too crazy. I just wanted to try to figure out what exactly I was working with.
Yeah.
This upcoming week, though, we have shows Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yep.
And I'm DraftKinging every day.
Yeah.
So I'm just in the house all day next week. It's going to be in the 70s and sunny every day, Marcus. Keep your eye out on the social media. I'll be grilling. I'll be air frying.
Love it. Well, you love to see it.
So.
All right. Well, I mean, I got nothing else. At Marcus Tweet everywhere.
At Justin Emery Show on social media, and make sure you're not going to want to miss our round 2 game 1 preview on Monday.
Yes, Brad Memory Pod.
And Ozark. Get out there and watch them Ozarks.
Did you see the Killer Mike and Ruth?
I did not. Yes, I did.
Yeah, Ruth is such a G.
I can't about the promo.
Yes. I can't take her dying. I can't. My heart can't take it.
I don't think she will.
I hope not. I can't take it.
So what are we giving ourselves till next Friday?
Friday. Yeah, next Friday we'll talk about it. I'm sure I'll probably get through it this week.
I'll probably get through it too, but we'll save it for next Friday.
Next Friday, yeah.
Big Saul talk. What, Wednesday maybe?
Big Saul talk Wednesday.
We got DK next week or no?
Yeah. I'm sure she'll be back next week. Yep.
All right. Well,
until next time, you be with us, you be against us, but never gonna stop us. Late.